Hello, Kako, everyone. What's up? And it's Pink Crush 808, and I'm back. I am back. So, yeah, you can see behind me, you see that right there. It says, congratulations, graduate, because my baby girl graduated. Hey, what's up? And like I said, on one of my posts, I was blessed to have been part of that journey for her. So I personally completed her last semester of education, and I actually graduated her through Holy Trinity Prayer House Academy. And there may be talks of an actual, extending it out to the public. It depends. I'm thinking about it. Like, I have years of teaching experience. I do, in both public and private sector, every grade level, from early education, primary education, secondary education, as well as college level. Yes, I had to deal with the elders and the adults, and you know what? They're very pleasant. They were very, very pleasant. I think one of the more challenging groups to work with was the preteens. That was one of the more challenging ones, because they're not teens and they're still babies. You know what I'm saying? So they're in this little awkward funk, where they don't know what to do with themselves. They're like, can I play with a toy? But no, I'm a big kid. You know what I'm saying? And then they start, having little crushes and stuff like that. When they're little kids, they don't care. But as they get older, they become more aware of things in their life, and they start getting all awkward. And that's when your parents, that's when you step in. You have to guide them through that. Because if you let the teachers and the community do it for you, that's going to be a mistake, because it's like letting the community raise them. They find their stability at home when it comes to their emotions. You have to help them acclimate to that whole dynamic. You can't just send them out and be like, okay, you learn all of this at school. No. You teach them at home. You teach them how to balance that awkwardness, and moms guide them through that emotional stage. Don't let your husband do it unless that's a boy. For girls, they really need their mommies at that time. They really need their mamas during that preteen stage, and boys really need their dads at that point. If you taught them how to be rough and be the boy at that younger age, then it'll be an easier transition for them. It's more so the females that have that little they have this tenderness where it's kind of awkward, and they're trying to grow out of the baby girl stage and into a more teen stage. Some of them, they get it. Some of them, they need encouragement. Some of them, you gotta wean them off that video games or that Barbie doll dress up thing. The Barbie doll dress up thing, I think the ones that do the Barbie doll dress up things, they transition through it a little bit more easier, because then they can actually dress up for real. And it's, to me, I think it's easier for them. But for the ones who, the ones who are introverts, it's kind of difficult for them. And that's the ones you want to give them a little more encouragement and a little more confidence. You want to give them a little more security. As for boys, I think they can transition through it well, but with all the LGBTQ agenda, it really confuses some of them, because I get the whole that a community wants to be accepted. Get it, totally. Okay, I get it. But for sons, I think it's setting a lot of confusion for them, because some of them, and also for daughters now, because some of them, now they're faced with this huge, confusing obstacle where they don't have two genders. they have 3, and it makes it confusing for them, I think. Because I think for me, when I worked with that preteen area, the boys were kind of confused, you know, and I could see it. I can't talk to them about that because, for one, like, that's not a subject, you know. It's not a subject. But I can hear the conversations. I hear the conversations, and I could see a lot of things that the parents need to say, and I see a lot of, you know, exploration confusion, you know, and it's like, oh, you poor things, you know. It was hard enough for me when I was a preteen, you know, and it was hard enough for you know, just my generation. We didn't have that problem. You boy, you're a boy. You're a girl, you're a female. You know, there's no in between. You're not gonna be. And if in Hawaii, there was this in between, okay, and they were called mahu. But that in between, they were like this hidden community. You know, everybody knew that always had like at least 1, 2, or 3 mahus. Always had one mahu in the whole class. You know, in the class there was always one mahu, but they too knew that they were a boy. You know what I'm saying? They like to hang around with the girls, and when they tried to dress like a girl, we would be like, "What are you doing? You're a boy. Get out of the girls' bathroom." I would be one of them telling them, get out of the girls' bathroom. You don't belong in here. I'm gonna call the security. So these kids nowadays, that whole agenda, and I'm so glad that President Trump is in, and he is president, because I mean, like, he's kicking all that confusion out. It's not. And for those who think that I'm gay phobic, I'm not gay phobic, okay? I'm not gay either, but I'm not gay phobic, okay? Hawaii is a bit unique because there is a thing called mahu, and mahu are like that. They're not. I think LGBTQ is a little bit more extreme because they want to force and shove that shit down your throat. But for mahus when they knew they had a feminine side, they got along well with the girls. They chose to dress like females when they graduated out of school. Prior to that, they had to follow their parents' rules. Most of the families here are Christian or were Christian, and so they were under that Christian rule mindset, and so they dressed like boys. They spoke kind of flamboyant. They wouldn't dare to dress like a girl or start wearing dresses. It was because the vast majority wouldn't accept it, because you're not a girl, you're a boy. And for girls, I guess there was some who were kind of manly, but poly females are kind of strong, you know. Even the most dainty ones, she gonna have one slight strong side of her, and so that didn't make them lesbian. They love men, they love boys, and the boys had a certain standard. They had to be, you know, kind of strong. They had to uphold that masculine side. But as far as the mahus, they knew that they were boys. They didn't try to step out of that. They didn't try to dress like girls. They didn't try pretend to be girls. They didn't try to seduce men or seduce the boys, because the boys wouldn't accept that. They would probably get beaten. So it was easier back then, you know, because each person had their role. And then now you have this explosion of confusion. And I think a lot of kids that became explorative in that gender area, I don't think that it was intentional. I think it was more of an influence. You know, I don't think they knew that, oh, that's how I'm going to be. I think it was an influence, and they just ventured into it because they wanted to know if that was something that would work for them. Like I said, preteens, they're explorative. They're trying to figure themselves out. And the more options you put in front of them, they're going to explore those options, you know? And so now, you know, you kind of cut that out. It makes it easier for them to really play a gender role. It's not trying to kick out your LGBTQ community, okay? You kind of made yourself know, all right? It's just, it's very confusing for the kids, and it psychologically hurts them because they're in this explorative mode. And if they're from a Christian family, then it'll probably hurt them even more. Like, I know they had this campaign of conversion. They had this, like, I know when I was in my young 20s, 21, I was dancing hula, of course, danced all my life, but at that time I had a friend and he was gay, and he dressed like a male, and he danced hula, so you know he had to be kind of masculine on the stage, but he was not masculine. He wasn't masculine. He was so scared of a fucking dog, you know what I'm saying? But we were all good friends. And one thing that he did tell me, because I guess there was a girl he knew who had a crush on my sister, and she would try to find out things about my sister through me, through him. But his thing was that they had a competition with one another who could convert someone to be homosexual. So even if you guys think it was an innocent thing, it's really not. They're actually trying to convert you. They're trying to make you be that way. And that's why, you know, I made it very, very, very clear to him and to any of his friends that were that way. I told them, look, I don't discriminate against anyone, but I'm 100% Christian. Do not try to cross my fucking line. I don't want to hear your gay stories. We be friends, okay? You need advice, that's fine, but when it comes into that area, I don't know jack shit. Don't ask me. And you know, the thing is, we had a strong enough friendship to where he respected that, and his friends did too, because I made it very, 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 very clear that, you know, I'm straight. Don't ask me. I don't want to know. I know you're gay. Just do you want to hear all my straight stories? Because you know, I got straight stories. But it's about friendship, yeah, not about your sexual preference. So hobbies was the topic, and our hobby at the time was hula and Tahitian dancing. So yeah, and you know what was weird? This is going a little bit off topic, but later on, that girl that he was talking about, and he wanted to introduce me to this person. I was like, yeah, one day, know her. She actually dated my sister. Yeah, so they were actually going out with each other. So they were actually dating. My sister became a lesbian. And yeah, that was a freaking nuts. That was crazy. Like, when she presented that to my dad and mom, who are devout Catholics. that was, yeah, I should have filmed that. So yeah, so that girl, Jasmine, she ended up dating my sister, and they were together for like how many years? Fuck. My sister recently got married, I think. So she broke up with Jazz 6 months after she dated a guy. I don't know. Well, they were with each other for a pretty long period of time. And then I finally got to meet Jazz, and I was like, oh my god, you're the person that Pate used to talk to me about. Right, I finally get to meet you. Hi. Oh, you're with who? Hmm? Oh, that's my sister. That's my sister. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, my sister used to tease me because I was very athletic that I was going to be a lesbian. And yeah, I was like, I started laughing at her in her face. And said, see, like talk shit. I'm straight, always was straight. But look at you. So yeah. Parents, during their preteen years, you have to really double down on them and their emotions and be there to talk to them about, you know, the changes between being a child, preteen, and teen. You know, guide them. They have so much questions. They have so many insecurities. Just be there to walk with them and be there to listen to them, because a good majority of the times they just need you to listen. You just sit down there, that they'll say 301 things about something that you have no idea what they're talking about, but they feel so much better after they get all of that frustrations and confusions out, and they'll trust you. They'll trust you. That's what you want. You want to develop that trust with your child. You know, especially females, when our girls, our baby girls, when they're transitioning through that preteen era, you want to gain their trust, and that's how you gain their trust. The reason why you want to gain their trust is because if anything happens, especially relationship wise, they'll come to you and they'll talk to you about it. There is nothing that my daughter won't talk to me about. It's because when she was transitioning through that preteen period, I just listen. I listen to her, what she has to say. I give her guidance. I always tell her, you know what, mommy's always here to listen to you. I'm always here. You have something to share, no matter what it is, sweetie. No matter what it is. It doesn't matter what the topic is. It doesn't matter what the topic is. You can talk to me about it. And then there was one time I threw her a curveball. Because they had all this LGBTQ things, right? And I said, hey, you like girls? You like girls. You know, I mean, mom's a Christian minister, but you know what, you know, you can be honest with me about things. And then holy smoke, the word vomit came out. And she's not, it's just sometimes you gotta give them a curveball that jolts their fucking brains and make them think, oh my god, what did my mom just ask me this? And then they'll feel comfortable because you are comfortable enough to ask them the awkward question. You know, seize the awkward moment, because that awkward moment will give you an opportunity for them to see, and for them to actually see that they can trust you with whatever topic, any topic. You know, that's what you want. You want to develop that relationship with your child where they'll come to you and talk to you about any topic. My mom asked me about this, and that's freaking awkward, but it's, you know, it's an awkward topic that most people, you know, I can trust my mom to talk about anything pretty much. And she can. Talks to me about everything. Some of the things that she talked to me, I'm like, why now you want to talk to me about this kind of stuff right now? Let me pray first. Let me pray. But her last semester, I was blessed with the opportunity to complete her education her last semester. My kiddo went through private school, public school, private school, and then her last semester was with me. So I completed her last 6 subjects, which actually were perfect, because her last 6 subjects were subjects that were my major. That was my major, and then that was also my career field. My career field and my major, I stepped out of my actual career field to teach my daughter. So I wasn't working full-time. I was working part-time, making taking assignments and hours, and then I'm probably going to step back into my actual career, my actual career focus. It's just just for that moment. God is so good. He blessed me with that time to step away from my actual full-time career, my full-time pursuit, and step back into the medical field so that I can make my hours that I needed and also teach my daughter at the same time. And yes, I did do field trips and all of that stuff too within that last semester. So I only had like 6 months, but in that 6 months, I think she learned more from me than she learned from her actual school, her institutions. I think maybe I'll do a piece on homeschooling for those parents out there who's interested, who would like to take that step, or who feel taking a step for homeschooling would be a better option for you. Then I might come on and give you guys some information and instruction as to how I did it. But just understand this, that I have years of experience in teaching. So my teaching methods and my teaching styles is very orthodox. And so my daughter had lectures. She had lectures and she had written work. She had like a regular schooling, structure. It was structured just like school. She had certain subjects on certain days. She had exams. She had essays. She had reports. She had to do research. She had to do all those things. And then I also taught her how to do research. So it was more like a college preparatory class for her as well. But when you don't have that background, then you also, I'll share with you guys later on about the different types of programs that are offered and available. Do not think that homeschooling your child is going to be an easy way for you. It's not easy. Okay, you have to pay. You have to pay. Like when they're seniors, high school, they have fees, right? Homeschool is about the same. You have to pay for, if you're paying for a program to have someone else teach them while you're at work, that's money. The annual report, that's going to be money too. Then of course you look at the other expenses, because people think that homeschooling is cheap, and it's like, no, it's not cheap. Shit's not cheap. It's like them going to a private school. But unlike the private school, you're the one that's going to, it's like a regular where you preparing all the meals and stuff like that. You do all of that. There's an annual report. If the state deems that you're negligent to them, then they'll come and do an investigation on you if they need be. So homeschooling is not an easy way out, and it really should be recognized a little bit more higher than it actually is. It's not easy. It's more challenging, if anything, and you have more expenses. What is $89 for school fees compared to $2,500? What is cap and gown could be about $150 or $110, but you're gonna figure out how to do the ceremony. And then of course, you have homeschool associations where you have hobbies and stuff like that, and then if you have PE for my mom, my daughter kind of lucked out because her mom has an extensive background of diverse things. I was a coach before. I was a baseball coach before. I was a kickboxing coach. I was a karate senpai. She had all these different things that she could choose from. She could choose from all those things. Plus, the other extracurricular activities like volleyball, and then of course weight training. That's another one, and that's something that I was getting into bodybuilding and stuff like that. And I'm not talking about big bulky lady, but more like the bikini category. It's my daughter kind of lucked out. I lucked out because I had this whole diverse background, so it played in her favor. And that's why I say, sometimes you just gotta trust God in all that you do, because God knows what's ahead in the future. And if you trust God, He gonna protect you from all of these different, spiritual attacks, if for the lack of a better word. And all of that came into play because I got into so many different things when I was younger, so many things. Everybody was like, oh, she's always busy, 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 busy. And you know, it's not something that I actually chose. It's something that just happened. You know, one door open, boom, I walk through. One door open, boom, I walk through. More doors open, I'm walking through all these different doors, and I'm gaining all this different experience. Who would have thought that down the line, that experience would be what would carry my daughter through her last semester? You know, who would have thought that experiences, all those different experiences, all those different hobbies that I would take would carry my daughter through her last semester. If not, she wouldn't graduate. So God works in mysterious and amazing ways. You just have to trust him. You know, you have to trust him. You know, and once I'm actually faced with one scenario where I actually have to trust God right now. One thing that I want to make super, super clear. The last time I came on, I had this whole rant, this whole Asian rant. I just want you guys to understand that I am not anti-Asian, all right? And I don't have any Asian hate, okay? And yeah, I kind of went a little bit overboard when I said that Asians run Hawaii, okay? A good majority of them are in leadership. But, you know, it's true, but not true. It's true, but not true. It's true, but not true. It's true because they got the educational background to be in the positions that they are. But, you know, if it came to brute force, then the Polynesians would win. Just how it is. So there's no Asian hate here. Not at all. I'm not. I know, I realized that I made a mistake after I got off, because it's really hard to have Asian hate in Hawaii because everybody is so interracial, you know, and not one person is the same as the next, you know, not one person is the same as the next. So for someone to hate a specific group, that would be just invalid, you know. That would just be a false. It would be a falsehood to say, oh, all specific race or genders or religion or all this certain ethnicity. I'm going to use Asian as an example, okay? It's an example, okay? I'm not making statements. So if I were to say all Asians are bad and I hate all Asians because they're all bad, that's a false statement. You know, they're not all, or is this all Asians are the same? That's a false statement. That's not true. That will never be true. It's like saying every man is evil, every female is a whole. That's not true. Maybe a good majority of the females that person meant was a whole, but is it true? Is it indefinite? No, that's not true. It's a false statement. So I have no Asian hate, okay? And please don't go around hating Asians. I know I made a mistake because I made a huge mistake. So there was this one female. We just recently attended services at a new synagogue, and God put her on my heart. He put her heavy on my heart, and it was a female, and she's Asian. And remember when I say I have this thing, God blessed me with this thing where I'll look at a person and he'll just reveal certain things about that person. He'll just reveal a bunch of things about that person. And he put her on my heart after I met her. Because at first when I met her, I was like, I was about to get a little bit sassy, but God, the Lord said, no, she's not what you think. She's not one of those sassy girls. Because in Hawaii, we get plenty of sassy, sarcastic girls that act like they're nice, but they're not being nice. They're being condescending. So for her, she was being genuinely nice, and God put that on my heart. Because when I come across females, especially here at home, when they be condescending to me, I be a freaking asshole to them. Like, cause my sassiness comes out, my hula girl sassiness comes out because I know exactly what they're doing. And sometimes that comes off as looking, oh, she's so arrogant. But it's not that. It's because I know what they're doing. If somebody that doesn't live here and doesn't know the dynamic here, if they seen that, they'd be like, oh, she's mean. But no, it's because you're not from here. You don't know that crowd. I know that crowd. And when they're being sassy, condescending, they're trying to be condescending, bitchy, and they're trying to make it look nice. And for me, I'm not that type of person. I will tell you straightforward how I feel with your sassiness and what you can do with that. So with her, like, God, the Lord said, no, don't do it. Because I was about to. And the Lord said, no, don't do that. Don't do that to her. She's actually a genuinely nice person. And so I didn't. And I was like, okay. You know, sometimes you got to be obedient to God's voice when he talks to you. Not sometimes, you should always be, but it's hard sometimes because your emotion gets the best of you. Your emotions get the best of you. And so not this time, I listened. And I was super, super nice to her back. And God kept placing her on my heart. And the thing that he would place in my heart is that, one, she is a genuinely good person. She is a hard worker. That she takes a lot of shit from people. She takes a lot of shit from people. And she is very humble. And she deserves so much more. But she made my daughter and I feel really welcome that day. And on 4th of July, we spent the 4th of July at synagogue. I came late. Which kind of upset me because I hate being late. But I hate being late. That's my peeve. So, but I made her like this. I made fruit platters that day. I'm good at it. So I made fruit platters. I made 3 fruit platters that day. And for her specifically, I made a special fruit platter because how kind she is. She made us feel very, very welcomed. And I put like Dubai chocolates along little other things, like little, and they were all kosher. So she wasn't there, but I realized that I made a mistake making those comments and, you know, saying generally Asians, blah, 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 as if I didn't like Asians. And that's not true. That's not true. That isn't true. I may have had some, you know, kind of bad experiences with some of them. But, you know, who doesn't have bad experiences in general, you know? I don't think it may have been a race thing. I think it's more like just their own character thing. But I felt so bad, you know, and that's why I'm saying this right now, is because I just want people to know that I don't have any Asian hate. You know, there's some really, really good people. I want to if I could take that all back, I would, you know, because I felt so bad, because I felt like, oh man, maybe I just compromised her, you know. And she's a really good person. She's a good person. What God revealed, it was like, I wanted to cry. Oh, I'm so bad. I feel so bad. I wish I didn't say half the shit I said. But because she's so nice. You know, you can tell that she's a good person. You can feel it, you know. And of course, God reveals all. So I just want you all to know that there's no Asian hate here. Please don't think I don't like Asians. I don't like some. The ones that are sassy with me. But generally, no. Yeah. And it was that day, wow. That day was very interesting because I got to meet our new rabbi and the old rabbi. I wondered, like, before she left, she gave us a blessing and it was so beautiful, but she said something and it resonated through my ears, and it resonated in my mind until 4th of July. Then it dawned on me why she said, just keep coming, just keep showing up. Because before she left, she gave us a blessing. She acknowledged certain people who converted. And then she said, after she gave the congregation a blessing, she said, just keep showing up. Don't stop showing up. And I was like, well, that's an odd thing to say. But the community developed a really, really close, like a close relationship to her. They developed this really close rapport with her. And for me, I just met her twice, and I developed this really, really, I had this really positive and good rapport. I mean, I was developing a good rapport, and it made me so sad to see her leave. So I finally got to meet the new rabbi. And at first I wasn't paying attention to the little details. So one of the women there introduced me. Oh, this is our new rabbi. And I was like, oh, hi. I had my fruit platters in my hand, and they were kind of big, so I wanted to put them down. So I walked over to the table, set them up, put them down, and then I walked back, and I was like, oh, I think I should get to know him a little better, have a conversation. And when I was having that conversation, I noticed his nails, and his nails were painted. They were painted back. And I went, oh, that's unusual. That's unusual. So I was smiling, and I was like, that's unusual. Then I noticed his sleeve. He lifted up. His sleeve lifted up. And I looked at his arm, and how come he got, like, what are those tattoos? Is that the LGBTQ tramp stamp? I think that's the LGBTQ tramp stamp. And I was like, oh, I see. That's why she said, just keep showing up. And I was like, okay, it's not clicking in my brain. Because I know that if it were a Christian pastor and he came out as LGBTQ, this rabbi did not come out as LGBTQ, but I know if it was a Christian pastor, or if it were a priest and they came out with LGBTQ, that they were LGBTQ, bruh, they'd get fucking crucified in that church. And I was like, is this a thing? So he told me he was a convert. So I'm assuming that, the tattoos it's just old tattoos. You know what I'm saying? Because I know people who converted to Christianity that has a lot of tattoos, but they're the most Christian people. My father is one of them. You know what I'm saying? But my dad was an infantryman. He got tattoos from his infantry days. And he's one of the most godliest men that I ever met. Well, he raised me. He raised me. Look at me. Like, when it comes to God, that came from him by the grace of God. So I thought, how if it is the case, if he is LGBTQ, if he is gay, how does that work? How do you teach a congregation laws that you cannot follow? And that was my conflict throughout the whole Shabbat. And I mean, like, you want to talk about somebody feeling depressed? Yeah, I had this major heavy depression, this heaviness on me, and I was thinking, how am I going to learn from someone who cannot follow the basic laws? How is this person going to teach me or walk with me through this very important moment in my life that I value? The journey that I'm about to embark on with him is a journey that's important to me. It's very important to me, and God is very, very, very important to me. God is very important to me. I broke up with someone I loved. Like, I loved him because he didn't acknowledge God as being God, and he had a hatred towards God. And if I had to choose between him, someone I love and I'm physically with, and we were so close to, getting married, and I loved him. I genuinely loved him, I didn't cheat on him. The determining factor was the God factor. And I just get this feeling that the next person that he's with, he's probably going to, you know, acknowledge God or accept God if that person likes God, you know, accepts God. And it'll make me look like I'm a liar, but this is actually what really happened. I end up with psycho guys like that, where I say something and then they try to turn it around and make me look like I'm the liar. So I'm just waiting for that. I'm waiting for that. I'm anticipating that. But I'm thinking, how are you going to walk with me through this very important journey? And it's truly important to me. And teach me laws that you cannot follow, if that is the case. You're going to guide me through laws that you cannot follow, because I don't know in the Bible where it says, you know, that's acceptable. You know, it's not my business if somebody wants to choose a lifestyle like, you know, homosexuality. That's not my business. It's not. That's everybody has their own individual walks in life. I'm not going to hate somebody for being homosexual, and I'm not going to be homophobic. Okay? I know who God is, and I'm mature enough to, I'm not immature in that manner where I'll discriminate someone because they're a homosexual. But when you're in the capacity of leading someone into a spiritual journey towards God, and you're teaching them the laws of God, how does that work? That's why it was major for me. It became something that made me it made my heart super heavy. And even as I talk about it right now, my heart is super heavy, because it's like, I don't have any hatred to anyone who's gay. I don't. Matter of fact, some of my best friends were gay. But I would never expect them to teach me about God and God's laws. And they wouldn't try to attempt to do that with me. They would acknowledge who he is. And I think that's why we got along very well. But they would never try to they would never try to position themselves in the capacity of being a spiritual leader, knowing that they're not following and abiding God's laws, you know? So it was super heavy. And my prior rabbi, not the female would have been perfect, but there was I have another rabbi, and that too, there was some discrepancies with some of the things that you see, some imperfections, you know. Nobody's perfect, but there are some imperfections, especially if you're leading a congregation, you know. And so it was super, super heavy. And I was asking God, that morning on Shabbat and Saturday morning, 4 o'clock, I wake up. God wakes me up. I start, I did my morning prayers, and then I went into meditation. Now, I haven't gone into meditation for a while because I've been focused on learning the laws and certain things, right? Well, I went into meditation, and I was praying to God, and I kept telling God, Lord, why are these people, why are certain spiritual guys being placed in my path that aren't abiding by your laws, but yet they're going to lead me? They're going to teach me your laws in this religion, but they can't follow it. I said, and then you know what the Lord responded with? At that point, I was kind of crying already, because that's how important it is to me. So it's super important to me. And so And I felt, and of course I'm feeling that heaviness on me, and I'm like really, really, really praying in meditation about this feeling and this situation. And the Lord responded to me, and in his response he says, I guided you from the moment you became a minister, a Christian minister, up until now. But you decided to place your faith in a man. And this is how you'll know that a man is not perfect. You placed your faith in this man when you should be placing your faith in me. I taught you, I revealed to you, I guided you, I protected you, I provided for you the whole way through. But yet, your relationship with me dwindled. You weren't praying to me as often as you were before. You weren't asking me for the answers like you did before. You were distancing yourself. Even your praise and worship, you rarely even sang. I rarely sang. I rarely praised and glorified God. Prior to all of that, I would praise and glorify him every single day. There wasn't even one day where I wasn't singing his praise. But the Lord was right. I put all my trust. Every time I had a problem, every time I had a question, I'd call up my rabbi. Calling up my rabbi. Before I would call up the Lord, I would pray to God. That was like on a daily basis. I would be praying. I would be reading scripture. I would be searching and asking him. And no, I shit you not, okay? Each time I prayed and each time I asked, and I'm sorry for swearing, each time I prayed and each time I asked, God would answer. He would give me an answer. If it wasn't through the scriptures, it was through someone else in the community. Someone would give me my answer. I would receive my answer. And if I didn't receive my answer from out in the community by someone, I would receive my answer internally through the Word of God. And then I realized, I see. That's where I went wrong. I can learn how others navigated through this life to meet the laws of God. But I need to put my faith and my trust in God and come to him first. Not to a man. Not to a mere person. Come to him first. And he's going to guide me because I belong to him. So that was amazing. But God is amazing. He works in amazing ways. He works in those mysterious ways. And so for those of you who are Christians, those are you who are Jewish in Judaism, our first source should always be our God. Our first goal and the first person we run to should always be God first. For all our questions, for all that we seek, we should always go to him first, not to someone else. The rabbis are guides. The pastors, priests, ministers, reverends, they're all guides. But the first person we should always pray to is always him. The first person we should always call should be him. It should be Adonai. It should be Hashem. It should be God. It shouldn't be a person. Placing your faith in a person may not be the best idea. Using them as a guide, yeah, sure. But placing your full faith in a person, another person who is flesh and bone just like you. I'm not saying that they're lesser than. No, they have a title, and it's called teacher. But the teacher should never replace the creator. The teacher should never replace the creator. And so, in all that we do, we need to trust in him first. In all that we do, we need to seek him first. And then he will tell us, I think it's time for you to call the rabbi. God works like that, you know. He works like that. I think it's time for you to call the priest. I was so blessed. You know, God is so good. I had a priest for my spiritual guide, a rabbi for my spiritual guide. But the most important one is God. It's Adonai, it's Hashem. He should always be the first teacher. He should always be the first source. He should always be the first call. He should be the first person you talk to with joy. He should be always first. And so after I received that message, I was freaking tired as crap when I woke up. Like, I was telling the Lord, Lord, I am so tired right now. Lord, I'm so tired. I need to sleep. I'm exhausted. But I was obedient to his word. He calls me into prayer. I go into prayer. And then after that, it was so fun. It was amazing, because he always does, not always does this, but God is God. He knows what your heart wants, yeah? So right after I received that message, like, I just knocked out. I just knocked out. I knocked out. All I remember is waking up. Oh, wow. What time is it? 9 o'clock. Oh, Shabbat. It's Shabbat. Shabbat, I'm good. I'll rest today. And the whole day I just rested. I didn't even go online for Torah studies. I just rested. But through that rest day, you know, of course, you know, you keep God always, you know. I'll read scriptures when I get up, but I'll just pretty much just rest. That's my day of rest. So God, he works in such mysterious ways, such beautiful ways, and all we have to do is but trust him. And you all think that life is super complicated, right? It's complicated, but it's not. Life is complicated but simple. God says if you have desires to become wealthy, you work. You do, he'll provide those things. You know, if you want to be wealthy in this life, he'll provide it. He'll provide the avenue, but you have to get out there. I mean, you can't just pray and say, oh Lord, I just want to be rich. Oh Lord, I want to be wealthy. Oh Lord, I want to be beautiful. I want to be handsome. I want to be a business owner, and just leave it at that. No, you have to lift it up in prayer. Then you have to get out there and do it. You have to take the steps to get it done. You have to take those steps. And as you take that steps, as you venture into whatever path that you want, he's going to open the doors, but you have to put in the work. You have to at least step out. You have to at least step out and try to venture into the pathway towards that successful pathway, and then God will begin to open the doors for you. He'll open the doors for you. God never said you're never going to struggle. He never said that you're never going to work. He said that you will never be alone, that he will be your provider, your protector, your healer, and your peace. And when you're taking a journey, an adventure in this life, there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be challenges before you get to that objective, to your objectives. Before you reach your objectives, there's always going to be challenges. Whatever you want in this life, he will provide, given that it is moral. Whatever you want in this life, he will provide. You leave it up in his hands. You follow his laws, and he will open the doors for you. There's nothing that he will deny you. If you follow his laws, if you stay faithful to him, if you put him first and foremost, there's nothing that you can't achieve. Trust me. Trust me. I'm not a millionaire right now, but you know what? Let me tell you what. Everything that I wanted to achieve when I was younger, I achieved it. I didn't do it on my own. I did it with God. He placed certain people in front of my life, in my pathway, to make it happen. Even when there was situations that were like, oh, this never gonna happen. Oh no, he made it happen. He made it happen. And he's never, every prayer I lifted up, he answered it. Some of them took long, some of them it was immediate, but there was not one prayer that I asked that he didn't answer. And he will do the same for you. He will do the same for you. I'm good, majority of you, he's probably doing it already. You see the success. You know, but all you have to do is but trust him. Keep him first in your life, and start to work towards it. That's how God works. You show him how much you want it by putting in the work, and he will open the doors, and he will continue to open the doors for you. And so with that, trust in him with all your heart. Now, I'm going to end with this, okay? Because I talked about tourism last time, right? And I saw an article this morning about Hawaii was like a disappointment as far as tourists. There was a lot of disappointments for certain tourists that came to Hawaii because they felt like they were cheated or whatever. Yes, you spend a certain amount of money to come here, and I'm going to tell you that some of them are tourist traps. But the best experiences here are actually free or less than $10. So if you're spending a bunch of fucking cash for one location, are you really doing it right? Probably not. So for those who are military, okay, and you don't want to pay that big ass fucking $400, $300, $200, $100 expenses, hotels and stuff like that, then consider military cabins. There are a lot, and they're nicer than some of the hotels that you're going to see at Waikiki. And then of course you have Haliko, which is another option, which is really beautiful. But for spots and tourist destinations, I'm going to give you a list of places to check out, and I'm pretty sure you will not be disappointed, and you're not going to break your pocket. So the first on the list, and this is a beach, Lani Kuhonua. I'm gonna post it up. I'm gonna make a list of these locations so that you guys can look at it later on, or maybe reference it to, or refer it to a friend or whatever. But it's free. It is one of the most beautiful beaches, hidden beaches. It's 2 natural lagoons. The first lagoon, it's deep. It looks kind of like, to me, it doesn't look nice. To other people, it looks beautiful. But there's one lagoon, and on the opposite side, if you hike over the wall, there is a beautiful, serene beach with pristine looking water, and it's not too deep, it's not too shallow. If you swim out, there's a point of where you can climb on the rock, and there's like this pool, this huge pool, and you'll be safe. Sharks can't get in, but the turtles can, and so can the seals. Rarely ever you'll see a seal. Most often it's turtles. Don't touch the turtles. So Lani Kuhonua is one. The next is Bishop Museum. Bishop Museum, it's pretty awesome. It shows a lot about the culture, and for families, they have like featured, they have events, family events for the kids and stuff like that. But you get to see artifacts, old artifacts. You can see a replica of what the huts that Hawaiians used to live in, and different areas of Polynesia. There's a canoe, a huge canoe, that's like dangling over there. It's stable. You won't get hurt. Then there's also Iolani Palace. Iolani Palace is the only palace in Hawaii. And did you know that Iolani Palace, Hawaii's palace, was the first palace to have electricity? Did you know that? We were the very first palace to have electricity. Benjamin Franklin came to Hawaii, yes, and he hooked it up. As far as hikes go, so Bishop Museum, Iolani Palace, Lani Kuhonua, Makapu'u Lighthouse Trail. Makapu'u Lighthouse Trail is a beautiful trail. It's hot, so bring water, bring snacks, bring a hat. A fisherman's hat would be perfect. Bring sunscreen, or use a long sleeve shirt. But if it gets hot, just take the shirt off, tan for a little bit, and then put it back on. But Makapu'u Lighthouse, the trail, it is about 1.5 going up, going down. Yeah, about roughly around 2 miles. You know, it's short. 3 miles. It's short. It's easy. It's easy, and you have a clear path. You can whale watch. You can actually see Maui, Molokai, and Lanai. You can see the other 3 islands across the way while you're walking up that trail. So it's worth seeing. The view at the very top of Makapu'u Lighthouse Trail is beautiful. You have Diamond Head, you have Coco Head. Diamond Head is easier than Coco Head. However, Diamond Head has a lot of people. Like, that place is just saturated with people. Makapu'u Lighthouse would be a better option. Coco Head, yeah. Coco Head, if you're not in shape, you're going to cry. That is not for big people who are not in shape, okay? If you have medical conditions, don't go up Coco Head. Coco Head is a challenge. It's a straight shot up, and you're climbing the train rack, the rails, okay? The train tracks. So if you're not in shape, don't go to Coco Head. Don't go to Coco Head, okay? Don't go to Coco Head. Go to the next trail that I'm gonna suggest, and it's called Manoa Falls. Go to Manoa Falls. Manoa Falls is beautiful. The only thing that you need to pay for is parking. And if you don't want to pay for parking, you park outside of the gate. Easy peasy. And you don't pay anything. But there's like this little snack shop. You want to try the shave ice. The shave ice is really good. And then there's also Waimea Falls. Waimea Falls, you can jump in the falls. Manoa Falls, they tell you not to, people do anyway. If you're athletic and you want a challenge, there's an other trail that leads to the top, further up. There's a lot of switchbacks though. And when you get to the very top of that trail, the end of that trail, you see 3 points of Hawaii, 3 points of Oahu. So you'll see North Shore, downtown area, and the windward side too. It's really nice. I would highly recommend that you don't take that top trail when it's raining. If it rains, don't even go hiking. Don't go hiking in the mountain. If it rains, don't go hiking in the mountain, because flash floods are a thing and people do get swept out to sea. So if it rains, if it looks like it's going to rain, if it starts to drizzle, start walking down. Walk down, don't walk up, don't push through, because here in Hawaii, flash floods are a real thing. Okay, and people get swept out to sea. Another location is the Botanical Gardens. The Botanical Gardens here, I think, are one of the most underrated locations. There's little trails in the Botanical Gardens, and there are native trees. There are trees that you can find around the world, and it's safe. One of my favorites it's a Wahiawa. Wahiawa Botanical Gardens are one of my favorites. There's like this hill that you go down and you go back up. You have like a little nice walk, not a nature walk. And then there's one downtown too, and Kaneohe. So they have botanical gardens, I think, in every district. Another great site to see, and the Botanical Gardens, I think it costs about $7. So Waimea costs about $7-8 around there, 10 at the most, I think. But double check with the Waimea Falls Trail. Double check. North Shore Town would be another place to check out if you're a tourist. You're gonna come and visit the islands. Biodo Temple is worth checking out. The temple is nice, and the koi. There's like this pond, this koi pond. If you tap on the side of the fish pond or the wall, the fish will come to you. The fish will literally swim to you. Hopefully you buy some fish pellets to feed them. Then there's the Pali Lookout. That's free $99. Waikiki Aquarium, which is well worth the price. Next to the Waikiki Aquarium is the Waikiki Natatorium. So the Waikiki Natatorium was founded in was constructed in completed in 1927. I believe it was August 24th, and it was in honor of the 10,000 Hawaii citizens who served in World War I. The natatorium served as the epicenter of swimming and water sports heritage in Hawaii. I think it was 50 years it operated. It was in operation for 50 years, and then they closed it down just after World War II in 1979 because they couldn't maintain the pool. It was like breaking down, and it was declared unsafe around 1979. They completely shut it down. It's still shut down today, but you can see it. It was one of Duka Hanamoku's favorite places to, I guess, practice his swimming. Uncle could swim anywhere, honestly, but he hung out at the natatorium a lot. But yeah, if you do come to Hawaii, this list that I'm sharing with you is gold. Check it out. Don't go with tourist traps, okay? Because you're gonna pay an arm and a leg, and the prices here is already inflated. You're gonna pay a lot for just food. You're gonna pay a lot for your stay, because these hotels, I think the lowest would be like $150 per night, and I think it ranges, the average range is about $345, $340, $350 a night, and it only goes up. So if you don't want to spend an arm and a leg and you want to go to places that you're going to enjoy, then that's the list that I just gave you are some places worth checking out. And they're also safe to swim at. Now, Lani Kūhonua, you don't want to swim there during the winter. If you come here during the winter, that may not be the place you want to swim, because it's rainy and it's going to be dirty. There's a lot of runoff that comes from the mountain. So maybe going to Lani Kūhonua may not be the best place, but during the springtime, summertime, definitely, that's somewhere that you'd probably want to check out, Lani Kūhonua. There's also Ko'olina Shopping Center right across the street. So you can park your car at the parking lot there. After you're done, if you want to bring it like a picnic or have a picnic there, then that's great. But you don't have to, because across the street is Ko'olina Shopping Center, and they have a bunch of different like shops and restaurants, and the food is good. Next to it is Aulani. No, it's a Four Seasons, Ko'olina Four Seasons, and then Aulani. So, I mean, I guess you can get stuff there too. Check out the shops there as well. If you come during the winter time, you definitely want to check out the North Shore. You may not want to swim in the water. Don't swim in the water. The waves are up. Don't swim in the water. But you can go and check out the surf meets. You can watch the waves. The waves are huge. Do not underestimate the ocean here. Okay, I've seen a lot of people go to Sharks Cove and they think it's safe because there's a bunch of tide pools, right? Until the freaking big waves hit that. The big waves come rolling in and they get scraped across the reef. So you may not want to jump in the water at North Shore during the winter season. During the winter season, head to Lanikai. Like, head to the East Shore, go to town, go to Ala Moana, go to Waikiki Beach. Waikiki Beach, catch the trolley to Ala Moana and walk across the street if you're staying at the hotels. Catch this trolley to Ala Moana Shopping Center, then walk across the street to Ala Moana. or you can just walk to Waikiki Beach. That would be the safest. So wintertime, go ahead and check out North Shore. Wintertime, stay away from Lani Kuhonua. Spring, summer, yes, go ahead and check out Lani Kuhonua. It's beautiful, and it's one of the most peaceful beaches I've been to. That was actually the beach that I would go to almost every single day when I lived down at the west side. I would run my laps and then I would go and suntan. But yeah, that's a list of touristy locations that you can check out. The locals love it. You'll love it. The price is right. Some of it is free 99, and some of them will be, I think a good majority of them will be like less than $10. Maybe $10, $15 at the most. But in all honesty, yeah, around there. Yep. So I don't think you'll spend more than $15 at the most, or $10 at the most. But a good majority of them are free. So you can't go wrong with free, and it's really nice. That's where the locals go. Yeah, some people some people go to dates. If you're one of those people who love like hiking, then that would be like the perfect place to take your date. Manoa Falls is beautiful. Maybe not Makapu Lighthouse. It's hot. Make sure you bring your water. But Manoa Falls definitely, and the botanical gardens. You can also have a picnic at the botanical gardens as well. So yeah, how much is, I gave you guys an hour, or maybe a little more. So I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your weekend. I hope you have a more blessed week. Until the next time I see you guys, love, peace, and aloha.